and it operates on all three axes. Axes. Axi? I don't know. Let me know. I think it's axis is yeah, axis. Whatever. We're just 2 weeks away from the next great Mars opposition. Mars rotates the sun about half the time that the Earth does. So the Earth makes 2 rotations. By the time we meet back up again, it takes about 26 months. But also, in those orbits, they get further and further apart relative to each other. So Mars appears smaller or larger depending on where it is at opposition. This opposition now will be the best one until 2035. Maybe you have a telescope. Maybe you have a phone. It's really all you need. You want to take a picture of Mars? Phone, telescope, relatively high-powered eyepiece, and one other piece of equipment that I would have. It's a camera adapter that clips on the eyepiece and holds it rock steady. So instead of you having to do this, to try to find the planet and click a picture, it's not going to turn out too well. What you want to do is record a video of the planet just like you would do with the planetary webcam, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. You know, a lot of cameras are on back order right now because of the Rona and everything, but pretty sure you can pick up one of these. These are only about 50 bucks anyway, so let's get to it. So I have my 11-inch Celestron telescope here with the focuser, the diagonal, and a 9mm Negler. So the 9mm, if I take the focal length of the telescope at 2800 and divide it by the focal length of the eyepiece, that gives me 311 times magnification. That will allow me to put the biggest possible planet on most of the camera sensor, which will result in a brighter planet, less noise, etc., etc. So how you work this thing, you have a clamp here. So this will clamp around the eyepiece, and you'll tighten this down around it. And it operates on all three axes. Axi? I don't know. Let me know. I think it's axis is yeah, axis. Whatever. So anyway, these knobs operate left, right, up, and down. This knob right here will allow it to travel back and forth depending on the exit pupil of the eyepiece, where it comes to focus above the lens right here. And that's it. All you do is line the camera up and you're done. You don't have to do anything else. So we'll go ahead and clamp it on. You usually want to try to align it with the axis of the telescope so there's not that much weight to one side or the other. That's a preference of mine. Then what I like to do is open my camera app. And so there's a latch right here you can grab with your finger, and when you put the phone in over here, you just pull and that goes in there. And you can operate the control knobs in the back. So I need to go left, that's about right, down. I can see Mars right there. So what I need to do now is I need to recenter it. And there's Mars. We click on it, we'll be able to drag down, drag way down. But even doing that, we get no detail. So using the camera app won't do you any good on a bright planet like Mars. So how are we going to do this with the iPhone or with the smartphone if we can't control the camera app? Well, there's another app for that, and we're going to use, it's called Filmic Pro. This app will allow us to record high frame video and be able to control exposure and focus, which you don't really have to worry about because you're going to focus on the telescope anyway. So you'll lock the focus and then control the exposure using the histogram just like you would in fire capture or sharp cap. So we'll open up Filmic. There you can see Mars on the screen. So we'll open up our focus and actually we'll open up our zoom, and then will control the exposure. And now you can see we have a pretty little planet right there in the screen. And I'm really just trying to get the fringing as little as possible, because it is a color camera through a whole bunch of lenses, and so you're going to have that issue. My focus is already locked, and now you can see the histogram right there as it's pegging. It looks like about 70%. 50% is probably pretty good. We can go ahead and check our focus one more time since we moved. Yeah, it obviously came off a little bit. We'll go ahead and lock that focus in, and we'll shoot. All you're trying to do is just like you do when you use a regular planetary camera. You're just trying to get as many frames as possible, as fast as possible. That's our entire goal. You can save that to your camera roll and then just plug your phone in to the computer and offload it, and we will get to work on processing that. What's going on? We're at the computer. There's no mosquitoes. Last night, and I probably look like hell because I got like 3.5 hours of sleep. But hopefully that 2 cups of coffee will do me good. So last night we shot Mars with the cell phone. So now we're going to work on the video, and we need to get the video to a picture to work on the picture. So you'll plug your phone in to your computer. So now that you have all the files off of the phone, you don't need the phone anymore. Go ahead and plug that. Plug my mouse back in so I ain't got to do all this crap with my hand. So now we need to open pip, P-I-P-P. So what pip is going to do, it's going to do 2 things. Number one, it will change the file type from a .mov to a .avi, which will be read in AutoStacker. Number 2, we can crop off the extra framing and only leave the planet roughly in the center. So you just drag and drop your source file right into pip, and so that is a single frame from our video. You don't need that, go ahead and exit out. That video, that 3-minute video, has almost 11,000 frames. This is a planetary video, or that will be used for a planetary image, so we'll use that. In the input options, we'll leave all that default. Now in the processing options, this is the point of the video, or this is the point of the workflow where you can choose to crop and stabilize or not. So you do not want to convert to monochrome. Frame stabilization is object planetary. All this stuff you can leave default. You want a center object in each frame. Enable cropping. Leave all of that default, and we'll hit this detect threshold. What you want to do is you want to make sure that only the planet is selected red. If it's not, then you want to adjust the detection threshold number higher or lower until only the planet is red. And if you use this graph right here, you can see we have our 1280 by 720, and we want our crop to be, obviously it has to be less than 720 on the short edge. So we say 600, we'll do 600 by 600. So if I do that and I do test options, that will show you your framing of your output video. Now keep in mind, that's a single frame of a phone video, so that's not the final product, don't worry. Quality options. So now AutoStacker will stack the percentage of the frames, but there's no need to export all of those frames if you don't have to. So what you can do is you can enable the quality estimation, and pip will gauge the quality of each frame, and you can opt to only select the best 8,000 frames, the best 5,000 frames, whatever. And if you go ahead and do that now, then when you go to AutoStacker, if you want more frames, you have to come back and do it all over again. So you might as well just leave it all. Animation options, we're not going to animate. Output. Okay, right here is where you want to make sure that AVI is selected, and then leave all that the same. It's going to do what it's going to do. Frame rate doesn't matter because we're not playing it. And then you hit do processing. So you have the picture, or you have the video that pip stacked out for you, and now you can see that it is stacked and centered and all that. It's flickering a whole bunch, but I mean, it's a cell phone. What do you expect? So now I got the video opened up in AutoStacker, and from here, you just work it like a regular planetary video. So we'll go ahead and analyze. All right, so our quality graph shows 37%. Let's see what the video looks like. Ooh, those are pretty bad frames. So if I do the best 10%, that'll be about 1100, and I'll go ahead and do 25 also. We'll try that and see what happens. So the first time we stacked it, you can see here, we have stacking artifacts whenever we went to sharpen. So I went ahead and canceled it, redid the align boxes, and we'll try it again. The trick is to remember you're doing this with a cell phone. You're going to run into some issues, but don't get discouraged. All this is a learning experience, and it's one big experiment just to see what works best for this picture at this time on this night. And we're going to get it figured out. Okay, so we know that smaller boxes aren't the answer, bigger boxes are. Put one here and one there. Two. Let's try it with two. Look at that. No stacking errors. So now we have our image, our stacked image opened up in Registax, and now let's see what we can pull out of the details. The problem with this is we're not going to be able to stretch this data as much as you would a dedicated planetary camera because of all of the optical pieces that were in front of it. Normally you would want the least amount of things between the object you're shooting and the camera sensor. Okay, that's all I'm going to do in here for now. So we'll do all and save. Well, there it is. I know it's not like the best picture of Mars in the world, but just remember it was taken with a cell phone. I said it was possible. I didn't say it was going to be like, an iPod. There it is. But still, I mean, that's pretty insane to think about. I mean, with the same device, we went from this to that. Yeah, that. Pretty crazy. I think there's something inherently romantic about just sitting here, no noise, nobody around, just by myself, enjoying the sky. Can't really see any stars because the moon's so damn bright, but so is Mars. I encourage everybody who watches this, all 5 of y'all, if you haven't got a telescope and you think about getting a telescope, go ahead and get it. I would not wait. I'm not saying to go out and spend, $20,000 on a setup, but you can get a visual Dobsonian for like 800 bucks. Put it on payment plan and all that. But something like this, over the next 2 weeks, Mars, I'll be 50 years old the next time Mars is as big as it is right now. But I'm seeing it. I know what it looks like in that eyepiece. When I put my head down, you can see the surface features, you can see the ice caps. I mean, you see it in pictures too, all the pictures posted to Instagram and Facebook and all that. But being able to see it, it's a different feeling. So you get a telescope. If you want to take the pretty pictures, then take them. If you want to do planetary, then get you a scope like this and do planets with. But just don't overlook the fact that telescopes are made and were originally made to be looked through optical instruments. Take time. Don't always focus on where the camera's pointing or I need to get this data and all that. Like just look through the eyepiece. That's what it's there for. Appreciate what you can see on Mars. Appreciate the complexity of the craters on the moon. Appreciate the Cassini division and the fact that you're seeing it hundreds of magnitudes better than Galileo did, or that Cassini did, or that Christian Huygens did. But if you want to have a cell phone and take a picture of the planet, well then, I just showed you a video on how to do it. So there's that. It's so pretty. There's nothing in the sky. I can't even see Saturn and Jupiter over the garage, but I can see like one star over there. There's another star over there. That's it. The moon is just so incredibly bright. Anyway, I'm about to pack everything up, but before I do that, I'm going to take one last look at Mars and appreciate it. I hope everybody has enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. And until next time, see y'all later.